Welcome to this episode. We've been gone for 2 weeks. I'm working on the podcast, gonna make it better. Music, intro, all of that's gonna come. Joined by Nick and John. What's up?
What up? What up? Hello.
Hey, hey.
And let's jump right into the meat of this. So the new strike came out. It's called Proving Grounds. Big tank, has little tanks inside it. Big boss, lots of fun, and seasonal story came to an end. So we're just going to jump right into the meat of it. Proving Grounds. All right. What a strike. And we haven't seen a strike as innovative as that one in a while. And I stretch innovative, but at least it was like pretty different compared to most strikes. And boy, I don't know about you guys, but
The art design of it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun in that strike. I mean, that was really cool. And I think a lot of people didn't realize that it has different bosses every time you play it. Like it's got little mini bosses inside it, and they're all different each time you play. And you get a triumph if you kill all of them.
Yep.
So I had to do it like 4 or 5 times with my brother. Actually, it might have been 6 times. And we ended up killing all the bosses. But I thought that was such a cool little detail that I didn't notice at first. But because you really feel like you're just blasting through the regiment, like you're just killing every single leader of the regiment. And I mean, I've been saying to my brother for a while, I mean, we're killing like all their officers. This is probably not a great idea if we're going to be allied with them. They're not going to have anyone left. So, but yeah, lots of fun. I really had a great time with that strike. It's up there in my top strikes for Destiny 2. I mean, Inverted Spire is still number 1, but it's right there. I mean, I really liked it. So let's just jump right into what you guys thought. So we'll start with John. What'd you think?
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I didn't run it as many times as you. I ran it, as what I needed. Got the triumph, stuff like that. But none of us knew, even though you could glitch inside, none of us really knew what was going off in there. So for it to start out there and fight through and fight to the ramp to get in, I enjoyed it. It was, it felt like that was the last, like, remnant of their foot soldiers, because the density wasn't huge, which has been one of the complaints. One of the only complaints I've seen about it is that the density isn't there of enemies. But that ties into what we spoke about previously when we spoke about like Fallen Saber and Devil's Lair, where the density of enemies is close to perfect. So, but I liked it, and the music when it kicked in, once you got up to the ramp and the boss came out was great. Aesthetically, art style and everything looks amazing. I was hoping that it would switch which door you went in. When you go in and you always go to the left. I was hoping that maybe there'd be like a left or a right thing, and that would be how you get the different bosses, because it would just be something a little different, wouldn't it? So, but the atmosphere and the sound when you go to the treads, when you drop down and you're there and you're like, oh, that's the tank. It's moving, but it's not because it's stationary. But it looked amazing and it sounds amazing. And I may have died to it first time because I just did calculate my jump properly and just died to it. But at no point have I felt bored running it. Like, oh, let's just get this encounter over and done with.
Right.
With the tank room. I didn't even realize there was 2 tanks the first time, because I went to one side, owned that side, and then the other 2 people I with took care of the side they run. So the second time through that, I realized there was 2 tanks. Can't imagine them on Nightfall. They're going to be interesting.
Right.
But then the last boss, the boss, because there's only really one boss and a proper boss, where he comes out and he's got all the fireworks. It reminded me of Mad Max. It was amazing. So, and the music was good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it looks great. Unique loot would have been good.
Oh yeah.
Some sort of unique Cabal loot would have been great. But it is what it is. So, but yeah, overall, really, really good. More strikes like that, please. So.
Agreed. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, so I also enjoyed it. I think what I always look for are these like set pieces, like you said, with the treads and with like whenever you say it's some kind of sense of scale, some kind of sense of place, and then well, there's 3 really that come to mind, like that place, and then the place where the tanks come out, the big hangar looking area, fantastic fighting space with the different like small like differences in elevation on the floor on different levels, and I thought there was a fair amount of enemies on that, but and then the final boss room as well gave you a little bit of that Shield Brothers kind of thing with the big fiery cabal boss. But I felt like the boss, if anything, the boss was maybe a little bit too like straightforward. But
Right.
other than that, I think it was maybe I was expecting much because it's like the first strike in a long time, but I think it fulfilled my expectations. It wasn't like it didn't blow me away, but it was like very good, very good.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair point because like I've heard a lot of people on Reddit. I've seen a lot of people on Reddit talking about how they think that the boss was too easy on the first run because a lot of people think like, oh, the difficulty's fine if it's part of the playlist or something, but they think at least on the first initial run, which leads to the ending of the story,
Yeah.
they think it was just too easy. Like it was way too easy to blast through it. And I'm of the mindset, and I might be this might be a hot take, but I'm of the opinion that the first initial run should have just been a solo run. You should have had to do it by yourself because a lot of the memes on Twitter are that, oh, Kaido, I will send forth my final champion. Because I don't really count the officers on the tank as champions. I just think of them as like they're officers of the regiment on the tank, you know? But she sends forth her champion, and Zavala's like, bet, here's 3 of mine. You know, like, it's not really a fair fight, and I think it would have been a lot harder if you were by yourself. Not so much harder, but it would have been harder. And I just think that would have, and that's just me being a lore junkie. I just think it would have made more sense.
I like that actually. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or sending
like,
out 3 bosses
yeah,
against 3
something like
guardians.
that. Yeah. Because like my thing is like, and it sucks because if I would have loaded up by myself, I would have been match made with other people. So it wouldn't have made much of a difference. And so that's what really sucks. It's like I wish I could have went in solo because I really would have enjoyed doing it by myself. That's something that really kind of puzzles me. Like, why isn't there an option to solo these strikes? Maybe not do the playlist solo, maybe that's just too much work. But like, why isn't there an option for me to firewall the strikes specifically? Because I would have really enjoyed an option at least to have done it by myself. Because sometimes I like to do activities in a sense that would have made sense.
Yeah,
So,
well, the sad truth
yeah.
is probably that too many people would do it, and they wouldn't have the population for matchmaking.
Yeah. So, but at the very least, it should have been treated like a story mission. You should have had to do it solo. I would have think that would have made way more sense, and it honestly would have been better.
Yeah,
it doesn't
that's a
take
good.
away from the experience too much. It's just a
I would
thought.
agree with that because then it doesn't really take away from the player pool as much if it's just the first time,
Yeah,
and
just the
then you would go
initial
back
time.
to. Yeah. I
It's
agree.
kind of like I don't remember, but you remember the Forsaken mission where you first arrive on the Tangled Shore? I don't
Yeah.
remember if that was solo the first time he did it.
I think it maybe could have been, yeah.
The
But
prison one, I remember soloing it, but I don't know if it is.
Yeah.
yeah.
But that would be an interesting thing too, because we've had it the other way around a lot of times where a story mission turns into a strike. But now,
Yeah.
if a strike would start out like, or how should I say it? Like it would be.
I know what you mean. That's interesting.
Yeah. I think it would have been a neat idea. I like that.
Yeah.
What are
I
your
mean,
guys' thoughts on? So a bit of a I don't know negative criticism or whatever, but how it's taken Bungie until yesterday to realise that the strike wasn't free to play because it was advertised, wasn't it, on the as free to everybody on the roadmap, and then yesterday they were like, oh, actually no, it's not.
So to
No.
realize or to fix, I haven't
Well, to
followed the
realise
situation.
because it's been on the roadmap. The roadmap's been on the website for ages, hasn't it? For technically months now. It's been up there,
Yeah.
and it said,
Free to play.
from this week, Nightfall, and then free to play. When it's not, it's still you still got to own the season pass and the expansion.
And
to
Bungie
actually...
helped tweeted about it
but
yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, so they realized it yesterday.
Yeah, they
yeah,
tweeted
for me, yeah.
about
So
it
it
yesterday.
took them. Obviously, yesterday was the first day of it releasing, but all promotional material, everything up to that point, had said that it was free for everybody, and it's not. So, which is
But
a
if
bit
there
sucky.
was a technical issue with it, how, like, obviously it was probably planned for free, but then it went wrong, or what?
No, they're saying damage, DMG, whatever. And it came out. I was like, no, that was never the case. We apologise for the miscommunication. So that's what I mean. It's that they've completely effed that up because.
Oh, they advertised it as free, and now
Yeah, it was on the roadmap. Yeah.
So it's
That's why
not
there was
gonna
a
be
week
free.
delay between it.
No, it's not going to be free. No,
Oh.
somebody messed up, and nobody noticed for like
nobody
two
caught
and a
it
half
until
months.
yesterday when people tried to access
Oh,
it. And they were going,
no.
why can't I get in this? And they're like, well, do you own the game? Do you own the season pass?
No.
Well, no, I don't because it's free. Well, it's not.
Dang.
Yeah. So it's like it's walking the borderline of false advertisement, which is just really unfortunate. Like you don't want that to happen.
It's not a thing. I'm not like, oh my god, Sue Bungie.
Yeah.
It's more just like, what the heck? They've done so well, and now people are like,
I'm sure there has to be one or two people that are like, oh well, there isn't much here. Oh, there's a new strike. I suppose I can get this.
Yeah.
And
it's like it's just really rough because it's like they've been showing the roadmap for so long. They've done tweets with the roadmap, and no one noticed. No one saw that, and it's just like And I'm not saying somebody should be fired. I really hope.
No, 100%
I really hope no one's fired. I mean, it's just you got to catch that, but like I don't think it's fireable. I don't think anybody.
No, it's just more just like what the heck.
Sucks. It's like how did no one see that? But also like to the person who made that mistake, sorry. Like everybody makes mistakes, like yikes. But like, to be fair, most of the time, hasn't it been that these strikes have been part of the season? Like you have to buy the season to play them.
It's not just the season though. It's you've got to own the season and
the game.
Be online. Yeah,
and
you've got to own everything. You've got to own everything to play it. So unless you're an Xbox player with the season pass, you're not guaranteed to get it.
And Beyond Light though, that's a payday just to play a strike, just to test out.
Exactly. That's the point. Is it's gone from this is part of the free to play base game to actually no, it's not because it's on Nessus. It's on a planet that's free, accessible to everybody.
Well, that is weird.
But by the way, and that's my point. Is it's like how have they not caught that? It's not fireable. Nobody needs reprimanding. Nobody needs a KPI. Whatever. Nobody needs slapping. It's just what. I didn't think it was real yesterday. I was like, oh, people are just blown out of proportion, and then then Bungie tweeted about it and were like, sorry, it's now been corrected, and it's like, whoa.
Well, because Season of the Hunt didn't even have a strike. No, Season of the Hunt had a mission that took place in Dreaming City, but I don't think it's the same thing. It's just a mission. But like, a strike on a planet that people already have for free.
And the patrol zone of Dreaming City is included, isn't it, with the game? So.
Yeah. So man, that's rough.
Yeah,
that's really rough. Well, thank God strike doesn't drop any unique loot, or people would be really pissed. Although I agree with you 100% that this strike should really have its own loot.
So for me, it should have had
something.
The gilded knife that Kyle had. Yes, obviously she's not a baddie, so she didn't. It will make sense for it to be that exact knife, but. That gilded knife is basically a sword to us, isn't it? The size of it, so we could have got a nice sword drop or something like that. Would have been pretty cool,
right? Because it's already technically in the game. I mean, I still think that rumor about the hammer proving being a weapon eventually. I really hope that's true. That'd be so cool.
You think it would have been leaked or data mined by now, though? And I've not seen anything on it.
I mean, Bungie's been getting better with the data mining. They've been getting better at trying to keep stuff secret. Maybe this is something that they're like, we really don't want people to know this yet.
I would absolutely love that.
That'd be really cool.
That'd be amazing.
But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, at this point, I would have taken a ship, not a ghost, but maybe a ship.
I don't need more ships.
No, I'm not saying like I would have taken anything just something, like this strike should give
Mm.
you something unique, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
preferably a piece of armor. I would have liked like a cloak or something, like if each class could get like a cabal themed
Maybe.
class item, I think that would have been really cool.
I could have even taken a reissue with Trades Upon Stars, or
That would be cool. That would have been really,
was it
yeah,
called that? Trades.
yeah, Knights Upon Stars.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a scout rifle, wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, that would have been
with that
really
like
cool.
tripod looking thing. Yeah,
I think people would have responded really well to that.
Yeah.
Well, it's palindrome this week, so yeah, it's not unique to that nightfall,
Yeah.
but it's
no,
palindrome week.
Of
So
course, it's palindrome on the hardest one. Yeah, this is definitely.
exactly.
I've
yeah, but
heard
it's double loot though, isn't it? Double loot.
Well,
So
double the completion
Yeah,
time also. So
double of 0 equals 0.
but if you're looking for the adept one, I have heard from players that this is by far the hardest Grandmaster.
yeah,
I say I don't know if I want to get into it and get it done once, even if I do it on the final week, because I want to get all the seasonal challenges done. That's the only one that I'm not going to get done at this rate. I'm even going to go into trials this weekend and just try and
Well,
get 7
if
wins.
you were more available, I would have done it with you last week. Last
but
week,
I'm not.
Arms
I'm
Dealer
not.
is the easiest one to
I'm
Grandmaster.
not 1325. I'm 2 off. So
So,
well, two
what
off is not
will
a
you
problem.
do
but
on
you can't
Grandmaster?
enter though, can you? Unless you're
No, you
1325.
can't. You have to be
Yeah.
13.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Otherwise, I would have
Well,
been like LFG in it.
final week, I'll help you. Because on Grandmaster and Arms Dealer, when you get to the boss fight, you just do a third of damage. Then he goes to his little hidey hole. You go to the corner, you clear out the ads real quick, you blow up the thresher, and then you go under him and you just pepper him underneath the platform with void nades until he dies. So he can't shoot you, and you just sit there and throw void nades
That
at
takes
him.
ages though, and you get like.
No, it takes like literally 2 minutes. So it's easier than actually having to finish the entire boss fight.
Because that's one of those boss fights, like you either burn him down immediately or you're like
Or you're
really, yeah, you're screwed.
So it's kind of it's basically a cheese, but like you still have to get through the entire Grandmaster. Like it's not like it's easy. It's just saves you a lot of time. So and then I ended up getting a shit ton of adept shadow prices, and I got a couple of adept mods, adept reload and adept handling, which actually isn't that bad, and I got 2 god rolls, in my opinion, because I saw what happened with Rick Kakis when somebody was talking mad trash to him for having his own personal god roll, and he called him an asshole, and then Twitter uh, temporarily banned Kakis for that, and I was like, really?
What?
Like, that's where you draw the line, Twitter? Like, so I got one with Feeding Frenzy Dragonfly and Appended Mag or something. And then I got another one with 4 times a Charm, One for All. And then I got another one with Feeding Frenzy, One for All. And I'm set now.
That's a good one.
So set now. I'm good. I'm like, yep, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, that last one.
Yeah. So that was cool. And I also got the Flawless Cloak and an adept messenger with final. All right, I think I deserve this, okay? Because I got like 6 messengers over the season that all were shit. And I saw everybody on Twitter and everybody on my friends list was getting like God roll messengers, and I was like, you bastards. And so I got the adept messenger with Outlaw and Desperados. So fuck yeah. So, and it's sexy as shit. You don't even want to put a shader on it. And the Flawless Cloak is the best hunter cloak in the entire game, just saying. It reminds me of the Hunter Scion Flare cloaks from D1. So I'm set. Transmog comes, I have a cloak forever. I'm good. So but that's the thing. So, and I got a depth charge time from Flawless, which is lame. But Grandmasters, I don't know how I feel about them. Like I'm all for really difficult content, but I think there's a way to do it, and I don't personally think 10 negative modifiers against you is the way to do it, because like the only reason I even enjoyed last week's Grandmasters is 1, I was running with my clan, but 2, we didn't have to do the full boss fight. I already know that the full boss fight would have been not fun. Like that would have sucked, especially an Arms Dealer. Oh my god.
Mm.
So I've already known that this one's gonna suck. I'm probably only gonna do it like 2 or 3 times. Um, I just don't really see myself really going out of my way for Grandmasters because like it's really not that fun. I know there are people out there that really like it. I don't know why, but I don't personally think that this is the best way to do mm, high end game content because you should never be stacking that many modifiers against a player. I think it's better to do stuff like what they do with dungeons where it's just like there's mechanics in place. You got to complete these mechanics
Yeah.
and you have to it's kind of like Prophecy I think is the best dungeon. I think it has the worst loot for the dungeons, but I think it has really good mechanics for high-end content. You know, there's light modes and dark modes and you're getting shot by all these snipers in the cube room and the room is shifting.
Yeah,
That's
because
a better way.
that's what makes strikes. No. I mean, that's what makes raids so special too, and dungeons,
Exactly.
because that you get to do something you don't normally do in the game.
Exactly.
Right.
And so that's my problem with Grandmaster Con. I saw Skill Up tweet about it, and I don't really want to butcher what he said. I think I bookmarked it because it really spoke to me. He said, let me see. I'm going to find it because I think it's important for the viewers to hear this opinion because it's actually very true. So he said, finish the Grandmaster Nightfall. He's talking about this week. Such a shitty, boring, difficult model. Really takes every ounce of fun out of Destiny to have your god-killing guardian hiding like a pussy behind Ursa walls or abusing invisible mechanics. Not sure who asked for this sort of content, but I hope you like it. Um, so yeah, so that is something that I really agree with personally because as much as I respect the devs and, you know, look, a lot of work goes into designing this, I'm sure, but I just think leadership needs to step in and be like, okay, we need to rethink this because I like what I heard when Joe Blackburn said like, you know, we're going to be introducing master level content, you know, we're going to be introducing like hard versions of raids and stuff again. I'm like, oh, that's great because like I remember the old raids of D1 that had master like they had the upper tier, you know, only if this raid is the weekly featured raid 400 difficulty, you know, and that was the shit. Like everybody I knew loved that. I did that every week, you know, like, and it slightly changed everything. So like
Yeah.
the difficulty just slightly changed, the mechanics slightly changed. It just needs a slight change, you know. So strikes, for the most part, Hodler,
Mhm.
for the most part, are good. So when you want to take it to Grandmaster, just change it just a bit. You know, you can make the enemies harder. Maybe introduce a couple modifiers. I think 2 or 3. You know, but 10. You know, like 8 to 10. You know, that's insane to me. Like it's way you look at it, and the whole line is covered in modifiers, and I just don't agree with that. I don't think it's fun. You know, like this is a game that prides itself on just the fluidity of the game itself. You know, and your
It's their
powers and your
version of
guns and
Lasso, though, isn't it? Is
I
of
suppose, but I didn't
But
even like
how
Lasso.
about that as an option though? Is saying
Mm.
um there's 5 mod slots. Let's say there's 7, and you can pick 2 positive mods, and then you've got to pick 5 from a rotating pool. So if you really don't want if I can't think if you don't want arachnid or whatever it is, you take that one
Icarus or
out. But yeah,
whatever the fuck.
yeah, but you have to replace it with a different one. Allows to customize it. So, there's no, you won't get any better loot if you go with certain ones. But maybe people don't want to run a freaking hand cannon.
Right.
Maybe they want to run the weapons they want to run. So okay, I'm running the weapons I want to run, which means I'll take care of barriers this week. Somebody else takes care of overload or whatever, and then we'll just sack off the other champions. We won't pick their modifiers, but we'll go with something just as brutal. Like I don't know, but like increased melee damage or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, right, okay, so we've lost a champion, but now we can't get a hit because if we get punched, we're dead. So you've got to play differently. Just I don't know. There's got to be something they can do, and I think making a model that's customizable, but every single modifier is still difficult. cater your group around the difficulty. You know, to anybody listening from the vanilla World of Warcraft days, there's Blackwing Lair. There's the final boss, Nefarim. He they were I can't remember the exact makeup of it now, but they were the Draconoids that came at the end. If they were a certain combo, you were going to struggle like hell that week. I think it was red and black, because that was shadow and fire, which meant that they were resistant to shadow and fire. So if you had that, majority of your ranged DPS would have been warlocks or mages, which were running fire or shadow specs. So it's like that, where certain weeks, you know, you've got the base 2 or 3 modifiers that you can't change. You're going to struggle anyway. So here's 5 to change it up a little bit.
Right.
And maybe you can pick one positive, like grenade recharge or something like that. So
yeah, I mean, you know, I don't think it's much different than like the Nightfalls from D1, where it was whatever those set modifiers were. It was like 2 positive and 2 or 3 negative. You know, like I remember this Nightfall will always live in my brain as like a nightmare, but the one from Rise of Iron with the ogre that was immune, and the Siva Fallen with the Void Beam, and I remember that Nightfall every fucking time. And it would be like a positive modifier, and then it'd be Void Burn, which was not good for that fucking Nightfall, because he would insta kill you. And then it'd be something like Blackout or something, which, oh my God, with that ogre, you were basically going to be one shot. So, but I remember that, and you just had to roll with it. But like, it wasn't insane. Like, it was unbelievably difficult. I still think that's the hardest Nightfall in Destiny 1 history, but it was doable, you know. And that's the thing. Like, it didn't have like 7 or 8 modifiers against you where you had to plod through the strike. You know, Grandmasters, it take the average runtime for this week's Grandmaster, and I'm not counting the crazy tryhards. I'm just, because they're not human, but the average runtime I'm hearing is like 40 minutes, and I'm like, it shouldn't take you 40 minutes to run a fucking Nightfall. That's just my opinion. I'm not dissing the devs. I just think there's a better way, because if it takes you 40 minutes to do a Nightfall, and I know that Grandmaster's loot drops are way higher. I've experienced it, but I've also done a Grandmaster and gotten nothing. So if it takes me 40 to 45 minutes to run this shit and struggle, and I don't get shit, I'm not playing it.
Yeah,
it's not fun.
Should be a guaranteed loot at least,
Yeah.
shouldn't it? See, to me, 40, 45 minutes sounds fine, but that I've not experienced it to pull my hair out.
But it's also like, it's 40 to 45 minutes, but are you enjoying the content?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like 40 to 45 minutes in a raid, for the most part, usually I'm enjoying myself, you know, because I like raids, and that makes sense. But like, you know, if you're 40 to 45 minutes into a raid and nothing's really going wrong, then you're probably making good progress. So you're probably having fun. But 40 to 45 minutes in a Nightfall, holy shit, I'll tell you right now, not fun. And
that tank room is going to be.
I've heard bad stories about that, and it's also
the tank
like
comes out with shields.
oh yeah, right, and
So,
2 tanks, remember, and little ones. But the thing is, it's also like how you're going through. It's like you're slowly going through it, and you're hiding behind barriers, and you're throwing shit ton of smoke.
You've got to play certain specs as well, haven't you? Like whenever I see on LFG, when I'm going through looking at other stuff, and I see either 13, 30 or Grandmaster Nightfalls, it's you know, a well lock. I don't want to play a well lock.
Yeah,
I want to play my spec.
That's the way it usually goes.
I'm not playing a GIMP spec.
You
know,
yeah.
I'm not playing. I'm not. You know, I'm not playing any sort of hunter spec.
Yeah,
you know, I'm playing an actual decent spec.
It's either Chaos Reach or hunters are always running Invis. Like basically every hunter running Grandmaster is using Omnioculus, and Titans are running either Bubble or they're running Curus of the Falling Star. So if you're a Titan and you don't have Curus of the Falling Star, I highly recommend go and suffer, get a good roll of Curus, because everything in this game, people are gonna want you to be running Curus.
Yeah. So before we go on a tangent, like I was gonna add, because I think it was a good point about just the reward structure, because I think it is an issue because it would be a nice opportunity to have each of these like pinnacle versions of each thing, like have tier 5 focusing. Let's have Grandmaster, Nightfall. Let's have one thing per activity that is like the hardest to attain but gives you guaranteed something, whatever. I think that
Yeah.
would be a fantastic thing. And Grandmasters were such an opportunity for that one. So like people who like strikes, this is the ultimate thing.
Yeah.
And you know if you put the time in, you can get something for certain.
Yeah. I agree with that. It's so difficult. You should walk away with something worthwhile
It would be
because
such a neat design philosophy to have that across like each category. So
yeah.
have something. They're pretty close to that with trials. You get like a guaranteed trials weapon for like two different avenues now.
Right.
Um, of getting it pretty easy, deterministically. But strikes need that too, I think.
Yeah. And I agree with that because I'm a strike lover and like grandmasters on paper are something that I really like, but the modifiers and the reward structure just something's wrong. It's like first of all, like you said, I think that's the main point. The reward should be guaranteed.
Yeah,
Maybe the adept mods are random, but like the weapon should be guaranteed. You
yeah,
know, and
agreed.
And I understand adept mods being RNG. That's fine. I can understand that. I think you get one on your first completion of the week. But I could be wrong. But I know you get an adept mod for going flawless once, and I think after that it's RNG. So I think that's how it works. But yeah, I completely agree with that. And also and then the next tier would be modifiers. I just think they need to take a hard, long look at this content and think of a better way to structure it because seeing that many modifiers and they're all against you is not good. Like you look at it and you're just like, oh, why am I doing this? Like, yeah, the adept mods are great, but like, is the weapon worth it? It's like, it's a hand cannon.
Yeah,
There's already a void hand cannon that's arguably better, bottom dollar. So it's like, should I just like wait till next week and just get adept swarm? Because at least on adept swarm, I could put adept big ones on it.
yeah,
It's like, do I really want to go out of my way this week and suffer just to get a palindrome? Like, that's what people are going to be asking themselves. It's like
yeah,
just one completion is going to be really fucking painful. You're like, I already told my clanmates, I'm like, I'm hoping that like the first adept pally I get is just usable. If it's usable, I might just roll with that. Like because I just don't see
mm,
myself farming this content all week without wanting to pull my hair out.
There's enough farming to do with seasonal challenges, so you're not going to want to be fought. If it's taking you 40 to 45 minutes to do
Exactly.
that, that is 40 minutes is 4 games of Gambit, you know.
Yep.
So
you
or
could
if
have
you've
been
got
doing Gambit all this.
oh my god,
Yeah.
Gambit.
You could be getting that
But then
done and
you've got
getting
the
bottom
legendary
dollar.
loss sectors to do as well.
Yeah.
You've got to run 3 or 4 of those to get the 300 kills there. So
Yeah. And you could
there's a
also
lot of farming
like,
this week, and not in a
yeah.
bad way either. Apart
Yeah.
from having to run
Gives you
26
stuff to do.
gambits. So
It gives you stuff to
26
do.
gambit guy. I ran 26 games of gambit.
But
26.
yeah. But it also like it gives you a chance to basically
Pull your hair out.
well yeah, but
Cry.
4 gambit
Get.
matches would be 4 chances at a bottom dollar.
Yeah, I got quite a few bottom dollars yesterday. So yeah.
Exactly. There you go. So if I
And
could get
the
explicitly, I'd be very happy.
and the fusion rifle, telemetry,
Yeah.
whatever it's called.
Fusion rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's just our opinions on that content. It is what it is, and if anybody has any different opinions or wants to discuss it, we are more than happy to talk about it on Twitter. And it's a learning process, and I'm sure they're taking all this data and they're learning from it. But yeah, I mean, besides that, ending cutscene happened.
Oh my god.
Zavala almost gets assassinated by a pissed off scion, two
Oh,
scions,
literal
um,
goosebumps when that.
which basically affirms the point in the lore that it's the It starts with a C. All right, I'm gonna get butchered for this, but yeah, there's the not the consensus, but it's something else, and it's basically just the scions, the conclave, the scion conclave, which is like a group of scions in the empire that are that were conspiring behind Keitel's back to kill Zavala, and they're still out there. She hasn't caught them. She only caught one, and basically, Keitel is cutting her hand to forge a blood pact with Zavala. You know, basically like, all right, fine, we'll be allies. We'll stop fighting each
So
other.
sorry. So sorry to think. So the scion that she stops
Yeah.
from shanking um Zavala.
Yep.
Did they die at that
She
point?
shoots him after.
Yeah, yeah. That's my point. Is
She
didn't they
knocked him out.
die? Didn't they die? Oh, so she only knocked him out.
Yeah, because the helm message, she shoots him.
Well, she shoots a scion. I thought she shot the other scion.
I
No,
don't.
the Scion got
No,
away.
she didn't catch
That
him.
was
The
my
other one got
take.
away. The helm message, she confirms that the other one got away.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because my take on it was that one got away from the assassination attempt, but they got them, and then she's the one that she then kills the second one, like
Mm,
shoots them. So, but yeah,
no,
if she shot the first one, that's
she
'cause I thought the
subdued
first
the
one
first
died.
one, interrogated him, and then
Oh,
shot him.
okay, yeah,
Um,
'cause I thought the first one was dead. Look,
yeah,
when
that's
the
how she
mighty
found out.
titles slammed him in the ground. So,
Yeah, well, that's how she found out who the conclave and like what the names of
okay,
the scions were.
no, no,
But
that's fair.
yeah,
That's cool.
so and I love how the dialogue in the battlegrounds has changed after all this, and like how Saladin is like super pissed about Zavala forging an alliance. He's like, I love how he's like basically telling Crow and all them. He's like, no, we should finish them off now while we have them on the ropes. You know, he's like, you can't ally with these aliens; they'll kill us all. You know, like, and I really like that Saladin's kind of just sticking to his guns. Like, he's not like, all right, I guess we'll be out. You know, he's like, no, I don't like this at all. This is a horrible plan, and I dig this conflict between them all. Like, this is really good, and like, they've all known each other for so long, and to see them arguing with each other about this is like really good. It's like, this is good story. This is top tier content.
I do
So
like that there's a lore reason for us to keep going back to the battlegrounds, though. You know, when
yeah,
Kyle's like, look, anybody that's not left your planets, you can
Yeah.
kill for all I care. And that is
yeah,
good because, there's none of this. Everything exists in a bubble. It's There's a story reason for us to keep doing it.
yeah.
And I dig that.
And
So,
I hate the idea that everything lives in a bubble. By the way, I really disagree with that. It pisses me off lore wise. It's like I don't like the idea of that. I don't like the idea of loading into a strike and it's like, oh, you remember that? I like things to evolve in games. Um,
even if
that's
it's a
just
one
me.
stage evolve where it is, if it's a story strike and then you've
Yeah.
completed it, you get a different set of dialogue. It can be the same dialogue for 4 years, but it's got to
Uh-huh.
acknowledge that we've done those events.
It's kind of like Arms Dealer, I think, is the best example in Destiny 2 of evolution. The
Yeah.
first one was a little bit different, and you fought a completely different boss. But now
Yeah.
the strike is you're fighting a completely different
Who-
boss who has nothing to do with the story mission.
Yeah,
And
he's taken
that's
over.
evolution.
He's trying to take over his little army and stuff in it. So
Exactly. And I really dig that. I think that's how you should do it. And I think a lot of strikes have not done that well. Um, and that's just unfortunate. Um, but I hate the idea of, oh, they just live in a bubble and that's okay. Like I don't like that. I think it's really lazy. You know, I
so
think you got to change it up.
for me on that, it's contradictory because they've said that, but then they release Will of Crota,
Yep.
which is different.
Yeah.
But then they release Devil's Lair and Fallen Saber, which are bubble strikes.
Yep.
And it's like I know we spoke about this before. We'll probably go round in circles on it forever. But it's like you've released one strike in the Cosmodrome with new content, new everything. Obviously, it's the same boss fight, but new character, new story and everything. And then you've released the other two, and you've used the whole bubble thing. It's like, come on, don't
Yeah.
do that.
And I said this when Devil's Lair came out. I wish they would have changed it a little. You know, it's like
Still an amazing strike though.
it's yeah, so top tier, but really wish they would have changed it a little because like it really annoys me that it's just living in this bubble and I'm like, come on, like you couldn't be bought. Like the best you could do is, oh, we added 2 brigs to it. See, it's different, and it's like, that's it. That's all you could do.
Two
Like,
brigs with the same house though.
yeah,
You know, those houses shouldn't have brigs.
yeah, and it's like it just doesn't
Anyway,
make sense. Like, who the hell said that was okay? It just, I
was it you,
know
Nick?
they.
Did you say that was okay?
Yeah, did you say that was okay, Nick?
I might have slipped something.
Oh my god, Nick! Oh my god!
What do you think about the idea of things living in a bubble, Nick?
I think it's. I've never been to have had a big issue with it. Like, I've always treated strikes more like just gameplay, go in and chill out, and I think you can make a more compelling strike story that way, I suppose. When like the strike boss is some like you're killing this very important thing, like this is it. The stakes are high. Like obviously, if it's just like a routine thing, then it's not as epic, I suppose. But yeah, like I think the battlegrounds are a good example of when I think from the start of battlegrounds when the season came out, I think the idea has been like constantly that it's like an ongoing thing and it's like a continuity where you can go in there repeated times and there's always like new forces to take out and I think it works in that, but I don't know if it needs to be the case for like strikes. I think strikes are cool as like this one epic thing that you have to stop and fine. I mean, you end up playing it many times and it's jarring, but it's not as much of an issue for me personally.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
As far as reissuing, yeah, I think they could have done more, but I think that horse has been beaten to an inch of his life on this podcast so far. So I think, yeah, let's say I'm not as, yeah, I don't take much issue with it personally.
Oh, I mean, it's a fair point. Well, yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? It is what it is. Game making is difficult, and I'm not gonna like try to tell people how to do their job. You know, like I appreciate the work they've done. You know, and I did think that Bungie is one of those companies that really does their best to learn and
Oh yeah,
evolve. So, but when Joe Blackburn takes over, I think things are gonna keep going in the right direction. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, who knows where this is going to go story wise? Who knows what's going to happen next season after this whole armistice, you know? And I'm definitely very intrigued how they're going to fill up this year's content due to, you know, the delay. So
right.
I'm very interested, very intrigued to see where this goes.
Yeah, didn't they just have like a summit also, like a virtual summit?
I heard about that on Twitter. I think they
Yeah,
just.
some people say like the future is very bright for Destiny and stuff like this. So
Mm-hmm.
very promising.
Also, I feel like some of the creators that were invited there, you know, we got to be careful on that because these are
Yeah.
the same. Some of these creators are the same creators that caused us to have some of those dark days in Destiny 1, Destiny 2 Alpha,
Oh
or sorry,
no.
Vanilla. You know, like those weren't great, and that was because they were listening majority to streamers and not to the average player. And I think you got to make sure that you're pulling your average player so that you can get a balanced opinion.
Yeah.
You know, I understand that streamers are streamers and they're big and famous and blah, blah, blah. But just because you have a lot of time to play in the game doesn't mean your opinion's always the best one for the game.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
So I think Bungie needs to make sure they're doing some sort of polling of the audience. All right, because if you're only interviewing the people in the front row, you are not getting the full opinion.
No, I
I'm
agree.
just saying, I'm not invalidating any of the opinions of streamers, but I think I'm not going to apologize for saying that they shouldn't be coddled for their opinion because they're not the majority of the player base.
Yeah.
So maybe that's by sending out a virtual survey to players of the game, and you don't have to do it. You know, just be like, here's a survey. We want an opinion, but if you don't want to complete the survey, that's fine.
Yeah. And
But
like to a lot of people's credit, some people do try to like aggregate all of their communities like concerns and try to like
Oh, for
be
sure.
the in the best case they're like the spokesperson, the person that can actually get people's opinions heard and things like this. So hopefully people use their position responsibly in these kind of summits, and I'm sure a lot of people do. But obviously, like you said, it's up to Bungie to have the perspective to not only like base everything on those people.
Yeah, I mean, because I remember Asdacross a while ago. He said in a video he was at the summit a while ago, but I remember he said like some of the opinions he was hearing were like not great, and he was like, "This is not good for the game." And then it turns out they weren't that great for the game. So it's like, yeah, obviously it's up to Bungie at the end of the day, and there are streamers that do good polls of their audience and stuff, and that's great. That should happen more often.
Yeah.
But I do think that something needs to happen. I think that there needs to be a virtual survey sent out to the player base with the option to decline it. You know, I think that would really help the game, honestly, if they could get like, 'cause it's no different, honestly, than when they had us vote on the armor sets for the Halloween event.
No.
So why not do another thing like that for the player base on, it doesn't have to be like super serious shit, and it doesn't have to be like a 50 question survey, but maybe like 5 or so questions about content,
Yeah.
and about Grandmasters. Like, are you playing Grandmasters? No. And here's
Well,
like
I mean,
5.
they have that data. Yeah.
Yeah, but being able to know why
Opinions.
from players,
Yeah. Why? Sure.
like 4 options.
Yeah.
Tell us, like, what are the options, like why, like if you
That's
had to pick
good.
one reason, and I think that would help, honestly, with them, how they design their content. It's like, okay, this is the majority reason as to why 86% said this. Okay, I think we have to take a look at that.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a great idea.
So that's just something, and we'll see what happens, like. But I'm not worried about the game. I think it's going in a really good direction. I don't think Grandmasters are going to ruin the game. Like, I think they need to be tweaked. But we'll see what happens. Can't read the future. So, still very excited to see where the game goes next season.
Yeah.
So, I'm really just right now, I'm kind of just like really just anticipating next season. Like, oh, I just can't wait for them to announce it because I just want to know.
May 11th, Transmog, among other things.
Taking so long.
I know.
Total Glass is other, isn't it, next season?
Hmm?
Total Glass next season, isn't it, as well?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but that's what I want to know. Is it good? Are they bringing back the ornaments for the armor too? Please give me that Vex leg. Give the warlocks the tentacles. Like, I want to see that shit. I really hope they bring back the ornaments. So if they don't, I'm gonna be a little bummed because the Vault of Glass armor on its own was kind of like, eh. It was fine, but the ornaments were like top tier. So I don't know when they're gonna announce that, but I hope it's soon. And don't assume that your audience knows you're bringing back the ornaments, Bungie. Just tell us, So, yeah, So just kind of just padding out the content, playing every week, doing some challenges and stuff. I've been playing some other games just to like eat up my boredom and whatnot. But and I have a couple games to review on Switch. But other than that, play the seasonal challenges, people. Get that shit done. It's gonna take some time, but it's worth it. And play some other games if you need to. Like the next season doesn't start for a bit, so you got time.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Maybe farm for bottom dollar or something. Like there's things for you to do, but you don't have to play Destiny every day. It's honestly better when you don't play it every day. It's better when you play it every couple days, every other day.
Yeah.
So don't stress yourself out. You got
Outriders. Probably a lot of people are dubbing into that.
My brother.
I've just switched my Xbox over to New Zealand so I can load it up early.
Beautiful. There you go.
My brother.
I feel for Steam players though, because they've got to wait till 5. Well, if I was playing on PC in England, I'd have to wait till 5 p.m. tomorrow afternoon to do it.
That is
Whereas console is midnight local time. So,
so
I've just changed my Xbox because they've said that if you change your console time, you'll get a a flag marker on your account.
That's funny.
So it'll show that you've cheated because the in-game clock determines loot for vendors. So if you don't like the loot, you can just set yourself forward like 12 hours and you'll get new loot.
Oh my god.
Whereas if you change your Xbox time like to a different time zone, you're not changing the time because it's still the same time. You're just in a different time zone. So, and they've confirmed you won't get a cheater's mark for that. So I was like, great, they've confirmed that, so I've just set it forward because yeah, I don't want to risk getting a cheater's mark for playing the game early. They've gone like, no, let you go ahead, do it. I was like, brilliant,
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. So,
well, that's good. Hey, there you go. It's something to look forward to. You know,
yeah,
my brother really likes that game. He already pre-ordered it. He's hype as hell to play it. He said the story sucks, but the game is fun. I was like, that's what I've heard. The story's kind of shit, but like the game is a lot of
the
fun.
story so far has been alright. You're not going to know any more beyond that, are you? You know, it's not.
Well, I mean, you know,
No.
they just said like it's not. It's like D1 vanilla, like, eh. But we'll see where it goes. But he said like the game itself is like hella fun. So I was like, oh, I might
Yeah,
have
massive potential.
I might have to look into that. Looks pretty cool. So, yeah, I mean, you know, hey, there's a game for y'all to play if you're bored. You know, like
Especially if you're on Xbox because it's with Game Pass. So
it's with Game Pass. There you go, people. There you go. Now you got a game to eat up your time. You know, so check it out. I'm looking into the Crash Bandicoot. You know, the updated version. There's a bundle.
Man.
There's a bundle with Spyro remastered and another game, I think, and it's like basically 3 games for the price of 1.
Oh, did they up the frame rate for Spyro as well? Because that's
I think so.
I played the remake, but it's like motion blurry and barely 30 FPS. And
don't forget. So today, this is less
Cool.
for the listeners because they're not going to hear this today. Today's the last day to get Ratchet and Clank for free on the PS4 or PS5. So if you want to go and get it, today's your last day. So make sure you grab that. And that's been updated to 60 FPS as well. So
yeah,
Today's the last day, like
today, as in now, yeah.
31st of March.
so
Yeah.
too bad.
Yeah, so if you don't get it today, then you know, still pick it up cheap. You can probably go to GameStop or whatever and get it for like $10 or $15, but it's free. So and
On
it's free
Xbox?
to everybody. It's no on PlayStation.
Oh,
It's a PlayStation exclusive. So
lame.
so yeah, but yes, I grabbed it, and then tomorrow some more games kick in, and then I think the next big game after that is Horizon Zero Dawn, like complete edition. So which I already own anyway, but it saves me having to put the disc in. You know, I can just boot it up digitally. So, and I purchased
There you go.
a Xbox expansion card today on Amazon because it's on sale, at least in the UK. So I grabbed that. I was thinking about doing an installation tutorial video, but then I realised all you've got to do is slot it in on a PS5. Oh,
Well, you can still do one. It'll be like a short.
yeah, I'm like
Twitter
here's all the
video.
tools, guys. I've got the screwdriver, I've got my anti-static band, and I've done it. It's done. That's it. There you go.
No, that's even better. You have to do it.
Oh, I might do it. So we'll see if I do it. So I don't know. I might have to order an anti-static band just to make it work. But no, I'll just use an elastic band. So
Yeah, man, that's succinct enough. You can put that as a Twitter video and stuff and get some traction.
Well, I might have to go to Hot Topic and pick up this new limited edition Stitch, Scrump, and Angel Funko. For anyone who knows me, I'm a Stitch Funko guy. I'm a Stitch fan. I love Lilo and Stitch. So, and this just came out at Hot Topic at my mall, and it's limited 2 per customer. So I was like, oh shit, I might have to go there and get one.
So bring it back onto topic slightly. Destiny, has your drifter statue been dispatched or anything yet?
I didn't order it yet. I ordered
it yet.
I got the stranger one. It's out now? Oh shit.
Yeah, the drifter one. Yeah, pretty sure it is. Yeah, you need to be ordering it.
Shit. Who do you buy it with?
School candy. Numbskull. Sorry, Numbskull.
Numbskull.
Yeah, same place you got your stranger one from.
Oh well, when I ordered my stranger one, I ordered it through GameStop.
Oh, okay. All right.
I know. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's Numbskull over here. So they do loads of good stuff. So they do like all different types of game branding, but they do them as ducks. and they actually look really good.
Cool.
Imagine Shaxx as a duck.
Oh, those things.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh.
Yeah,
Gamers,
I know.
I've seen those. They're so bizarre looking.
They are, but they work.
They are on
The
Amazon.
baller is a duck.
Get Prime shipping. Oh, you can get Prime shipping. Hey gamers, if you love the Drifter and you want to get something with Prime shipping, there you go. That's like 1 day delivery. That's like insane.
At least you can get on a plane and bring it to you. Then they
Yeah.
have to go in a COVID hotel for like 4 weeks, and then you can get it. So it's 1 day delivery to the States, but it takes 4 weeks to get to you. So
Honestly, I'm looking at this and I'm really debating getting it. So, yeah, I agree. I agree.
Well, we are and we aren't. We went off the rails when we got onto Ratchet and Clank and stuff. We're on the
Yeah.
rails now because we're talking about Destiny merchandise. So
Yeah. If
It's
you
just
like the
that-
Drifter, this is where you go.
but then we've gone off the rails because Dimitri's ordering it on the podcast.
I can't
So-
help it. I like the Drifter.
That's
At
fine.
least he's honest. He's a dickhead, but at least he's honest.
Yeah.
It's like the
We
meme
all
of
lose. I
like
just want to get
salad-
paid. God.
everyone's like, "Who drank my milk?" And everyone's like, "I didn't drink the milk," or "The glass is half full." Blah, blah, blah. And Drifter's like, "I drank your water."
Yeah, he's just wiping his tash. Like,
Yeah, he's like, "It was me." Like, you know, and I like him. That's why I like Drifter. He's an honest motherfucker. So, yeah, if you like the Drifter, the statue is available in Numbskull and Amazon, Best Buy.
what is it?
so on and so
What
forth.
is it in dollars? So
It's $69.99. So same price as the Stranger statue. And if you are curious about quality, you don't know, you don't want to spend that kind of money on something, I personally have the Stranger statue. It is top tier quality. So I've not heard any bad things about the statues. So if you're thinking about the Drifter one, get it. You know,
for 0% off, put in the code redemption. Nick hasn't done the content this week. 20.
Well, listeners, thank you for
Fantastic.
listening to this episode of the podcast. I think we covered quite a few topics, and I will get this out as soon as possible. And I look forward to recording another episode next week, and maybe
Awesome.
we'll talk about some other games as well, because it's going to be a bit slow for Destiny for a bit. And there are
Well,
plenty
when's
of
Guardian games out?
Yeah, that's
Guardian
good.
games comes out
That's 2
I think
weeks.
2 weeks from now. So
Yeah.
we will see what happens. And I will update you on Twitter. But until then, thank you for listening. And we greatly appreciate your patience. So have a fantastic week. Stay safe and stay smart. Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye. Play Outriders.